Hey guys, how is everyone? It's Laura from TheRealLauraB doing a live stream. I'm so glad to have y'all here. I was actually still putting stuff together and looked up and said, it's 2 o'clock. I better get on. So today we're going to talk about, this is the tale of 2 insurance companies. This is going to be a series, a deep dive. We did a little bit of an intro talking about what it is they're actually looking for. Today we're going to talk about their coverage, their knocking of heads, and how does Eve Barlow play into this? I found some interesting videos to support us. So how about here's my intro and we'll get started. Hi, I'm Laura, also known as TheRealLauraB from Twitter. I'm a researcher, truth seeker, and a new wave internet journalist. I'm not a lawyer, nor offering any legal advice. Join me on a journey to draw the curtain back to expose key news developments in the world of celebrity lawsuits and current events. Let's get started. I didn't even have a chance to do my countdown. So let's see who's here. I did adjust my settings, so you have to be a subscriber before you can comment today. So hopefully that'll cut down some stuff. I'm not sure if my mods are here. I saw a lot of people saying they're doing live streams today, so the mods could be busy, but we will see. But yeah, we have a good start. So where we got people, we've got oh, great. Secret Miss Squirrel. Thank you for coming in. You are so awesome. Awesome. So that I do have them on here. Great. Great, great, great. And Laurie and oh, good. I'm so glad to have a lot of regulars coming back. That's super awesome. I have a lot to cover, but it's more interesting and not so much of a deep dive reading. So I hope you like it. Sarah and Susie, thank you all. Yeah, it's hot here. Our weatherman told us yesterday it felt like 100 degrees. My pool is at 93. Like, what's the point of even getting in the pool right now? It's crazy. It's crazy. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment here. I'll try and do your questions as much as I can. Yeah, I'm glad you made it for the live chat. I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to be interesting. I've also learned some things about StreamYard, which I hope will help. Yeah. So from Italy, woohoo. Did you get to go to Johnny's concert? Hey, Secret Miss Squirrel. Yeah, he's really tearing it up in the concert series. It's so exciting to watch him and see how, I'm sure he's getting tired, but he's really happy. And that's going to be wrapping up the 27th in France. I think it wraps up. Extremely hot here in Louisiana. Oh, I imagine it is. Yeah. Hey guys, Debbie's here. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to look at 2 insurance companies that she has, one through her homeowner's policy, one through her business. She has a commercial property and a homeowner's policy. So let's take a look at what it is that's happened. So on September 13th, 2019, New York Marine, who is also ProSight, that's their that's who's handling the insurance, who administers it. They contacted Travelers on September 30th of 2019. So we'll look at that date. On October 1st, both of them issued a letter to Amber Heard saying, we're going to cover you, and this is how we're going to cover you. You live in the snow most of the months in Canada. Yeah, I used to live up in Boston area. I don't miss the snow. I got to be honest with you. I don't miss the snow at all. So let's see if I can share this new system. Yay. Yay. So I've got tabs going now so I can share back and forth better. I just have to share the window, which means I got to make YardStream much smaller so I can look at comments and questions while I'm still sharing. Let's see. Let's get it sized right in the window. There we go. Can you read that? Maybe I can go a little bit bigger. Companies. Here we go. Whoop. Double check my connection. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so hi from Scotland. My family was originally from Glasgow. My mom's side, Boston. Live in Boston and in the UK. Nice. Hi from Michigan, Connecticut. This is awesome. Yes, I'm glad I'm getting my live feed in at 2 Eastern time because Brian and Jax are doing theirs at 4. And I just saw that Christine is going to do hers, I think, at 5. So you'll have lots of YouTube to watch today. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, another secret Miss Squirrel. I didn't know you were from Glasgow. Yeah, my mom's parents are from Scotland. My grandfather was from Glasgow and my grandmother right outside. And I have old pictures. My granddad was part of some military band, and he would play the I just realized he would play the big bass drum, and he would twirl the what do you call them? The drumsticks, but they're the big ones. They're the big ones. Let's double check. Am I looking okay on the screen, or am I cutting my face off? Let me know, because on my side I'm cutting it off so that I can split screen. Netherlands. I lived in Holland. I lived in Wassenaar in Holland. I did. My daughter was born in Luxembourg, so I'm sort of international. Maine, New York. I'm from Brooklyn originally. That's where I was born. Lived in Texas. That's about as far west as I got. London. Nice. Nice. So is my screen all right? Because it's showing funky things on my side. So I'm just making sure you can see me. And let's see this. See, it looks funky to me. Does that look all right? All right, let's look at this first document. So this is from ProSight. So that is New York Marine. This was filed on August 17th of 2021. So this has been going on a long time. And yeah. And some stuff has come up where I think Johnny's side, I think they're aware of the involvement of the insurance. But anyway, so this is dated October 1st, 2019. So the case had already been ongoing. Johnny filed in, when did he file? He filed March 19th. So this case has been going on for a while. Oh, I'm glad it looks okay. Thank you. This case has been going on for a while, and she had legal representation. So from March through October, she had Cameron McAvoy, which was local Virginia counsel, and she had Eric George, who was her original lawyer from California, who represented her in her lawsuit with London Fields, not in her divorce. So she already had 2 lawyers from March through October. And that's significant because I don't think they paid retroactively. I think these insurance companies started paying from October 1st. So she apparently must have incurred some legal expenses with those 2 people. So starting off with ProSight, which is the New York Marine, I think. Interesting, Steve. So yeah, the lawyers know the contract stuff better than I do, for sure. And I'm sure he went over the policy, and he thinks Amber's claim will win. He claims Amber will win and New York Marine will have to pay. He's an attorney. Yeah, so he thinks in the lawsuit New York Marine has against Amber, he thinks Amber will win. Well, that would be interesting to see that one. So, dear Ms. Heard, we are writing to advise you that, first of all, let's look. Her insured is Under the Black Sky. So this is a commercial insurance policy for her loan out company. Lots of actors have this. You know, the movies will hire the loan out company. The loan out company provides them with the actor. Donnie has that. I think it's called Scaramanga Brothers, but he actually has several of them. So this is her loan out company, Under the Black Sky, although I think she's also used it for a production or something. So that's who's insured. So this is a company policy. And this went into effect July 18th, 2018, and that'll be an interesting number date we'll come back to. Dear Ms. Heard, we are writing to advise you of New York Marine and General Insurance Company's determination of its potential obligation to provide coverage to you for defense and any potential liability arising out of the lawsuit referenced above. Based on our review of your insurance policy, the allegations at issue in the lawsuit and in the facts of which we have been informed, New York Marine has determined that it will provide you with a legal defense under a reservation of rights. This defense will be effective as of September 4th, 2019. So it looks like that she had applied for it. So they're on September 4th. They've accepted it. So they're going to go back to that. Abuse allegations. I'm not sure who is abused. We've had a court case. I'm just seeing this question come by. what are your personal take on the abuse allegations? Did you see any documents, reports that wasn't seen in court? Oh, well, Johnny Depp did not abuse her, and that was proven by 7 jury member unanimously. And no, there's not really any allegations that are new in these documents that I have seen so far. It is determined that we'll provide you with a legal defense. So there's 2 things going on in both these insurance policies. There's the legal defense, and then there'll be the payout for the occurrence, which is whatever the judgment is. If she was to be found liable, then they pay. This is $1 million policy. As of September 4th. So she was on the hook herself, March, April, May, June, July, August, from the time Johnny filed until September 4th. She was on the hook for her own legal fees, which I don't think amount to $6 million, quite honestly. But let's go further. In providing your legal defense, we do not waive any rights under your policies or otherwise, all of which rights are reserved, notwithstanding that New York Marine determined that it will provide a legal defense to you to the extent that California law does not permit an insurer to indemnify the insured. No indemnity can be provided, which means you cannot be held harmless. We're not indemnifying you. If you did something wrong, it's not our fault. If you've lied, this is what they're claiming. We have assigned defense counsel to represent and defend you in this matter. The assigned defense counsel is Cameron McAvoy, and where they work. We ask you to cooperate fully with them in defending against your lawsuit. Now, here's what's important. They've assigned a lawyer, but what they actually did is say, hey, Amber, you've already got this team of lawyers here. This is a Virginia case where you're going to pick a local firm that you already have. So we're going to go with the one you've already hired, Cameron McAvoy. So although the insurance company is claiming they have a right to pick your lawyer, we're using the one you've already picked. So I don't understand why there could be any problem here. They also had told her that they wanted to make sure that this would be the lead attorney. So they would be lead over on top of, who's the other guy? Eric George. Well, right before this happened on September 5th, now September 4th, they're offering to pay, right? We've got that date. These dates go crazy, but it's important. On September 4th, we're going to pay you your defense. On September 5th, it was signed and accepted that Roberta Kaplan and her team would come in, pro hac vici. And at that same time, Eric George was leaving. So we had, or Eric George hung on for a little bit longer. So we had a lot of law firms involved already. When Kaplan came in, that's when Rottenborn came on. So we had Cameron McAvoy, we had Eric George, we had Ben Rottenborn, 2nd Virginia Counsel Office, and we had Kaplan. We had a lot of lawyers being involved. Later on, another California lawyer came on, Eric George left, and then Davita Brooke came on. And then we know further down the road, Kaplan and all her crew left, and then Braderhoff came in. So there's a lot of lawyers billing. We've assigned defense counsel. They're only paying for one counsel. They're only paying for Cameron McAvoy, and I think it was Timothy McAvoy. I have summarized and discussed below the allegations in the complaint. However, we understand that the allegations may be incomplete, embellished, or untrue. We do not conclude that any allegation is true, and no statement in this letter will be construed as otherwise. We know what the complaint is. It was against these 3 statements. The plaintiff requests $50 million. And at this point, I believe Amber has already counterclaimed. Let me just double check that date. Did they counterclaim? Yeah, August 10th. They had already counterclaimed. So the counterclaim is already in effect. That might be also gave the insurance companies a bit more of a boost, that they figured she's going to get some money back. You are the named insurance of the policy. She's insured under Black Sky. And the policy provides commercial liability limits of $1 million. Each occurrence is a judgment, is $1 million for personal injury. And this is a personal injury case. It's not like you're in a car accident. There's no physical injury. So that's pretty much what they're covering. I don't think we need to go all through this. We pretty much know it's defamation, It's not bodily injury, it's personal. No stacking of the occurrence. Well, that's not happening. This one. It means that also means that Travelers, and if let's say the award was $1 million and Travelers has $1 million policy and they have $1 million policy, she can't collect $2 million if that's what the judgment was. So she does have coverage. What do we say? Conclusion. For the main reasons set forth, New York Marine will agree to defend you under reservation of rights outlined above by mentioning and or quoting certain provisions for the policy in this correspondence. New York Marine is not waiving its rights to assert or rely on additional policy provisions. If you disagree with this, let us know. Now, this was sent to... This was sent to Amber Heard. I'm not sure who this group is. O'Connell. The only one I know is Pierce O'Connell. I don't think that was the lawyers that had been representing her, but that's apparently where it got sent to. Down here, they did carbon copy. They did CC to Richard Schwartz, who was part of Eric George Group. And I don't know who Integro is. Epic Brokers. Okay, so it's possible that this is her actual real estate agent. She's a brokerage, and when she sold her the insurance, she felt this New York Marine was the best commercial policy, so she got that one. Exhibit B is interesting. Okay, so a lot of people were asking, could this be a new policy or could this be a reoccurring policy, a policy that recurs annually? Well, we can see here that this policy is new. It's a new policy. It's not recurring. Hasn't been renewed. This is the first time she took this policy out. And it's dated from July 18th. From July 18th. Hey, I'm just seeing a few comments. You guys are great. Just be kind to each other. You know, I don't really like to promote a lot of the rumors about Johnny. We don't know anything. You know, we only know what we really know, and let's not promote a lot of rumors. Anyway, July 18th is the policy period started. And why is that significant? Well, Johnny had sued the son. And by July, NGN knew that Amber Heard was going to have to be their primary witness. So maybe this policy, brand new, just decided to take that policy out around this time. So I thought that was interesting with the dates. So no, it's not a renewal. This is a new policy. And I wish I knew I can't find it on anything on Travelers. But yeah, this is not a new policy. I mean, this is a new policy. It's not a renewal. So then we go to Travelers. Travelers sent this in care of, okay, here's the full address here. John Blakerman is her CPA. It's like Donnie's Ed White. All right. So here we have this policy, and this is from Travelers. Dear Ms. Heard, I'm writing to provide you with your coverage, and this is dated the same time. So this is after her counterclaim and after Kaplan is already hired. I'm writing to provide you with our coverage evaluation for the claims brought against you by Johnny Depp in the lawsuit pending in Fairfax County. Travelers will participate in defense of this lawsuit. I have included a more detailed discussion of our coverage determination below. We reserve the right to seek reimbursement for any cost of defense or indemnity should the evidence demonstrate that the conduct alleged is not covered by our policy. Well, that's an interesting statement. We regret that you are undergoing this difficult experience. So Travelers seems to be saying we reserve the right to seek reimbursement for the cost should the evidence demonstrate that the conduct alleged, intentional tort, intentionally lying, is not covered. We base our coverage analysis of the allegations contained in the complaint and information we have gathered from talking to your counsel. So they've talked to the lawyers. The lawyers know insurance involved. By restating that Mr. Depp's allegations, Travelers does not in any way mean to imply that the allegations are true. Mr. Depp says he's suing you for defamation based on statements made in your op-ed in the Washington Post in December 2018. The title of the op-ed was Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence. Although his name is never mentioned in the opinion piece, Mr. Depp asserts that you defamed him by implying you assaulted him. Yeah, there's a couple of us, just to go back to this question, yeah, there are a couple of us that are working together to pool our funds to buy the documents that are going to be unsealed. We are working on that. I was just in contact with the court's filing clerk, actually the supervisor this morning. So when they pull it all together, they're going to let us know the amount. That's all that question can buy. Okay, so in the complaint, he outlines his relationship with you, and this is what his demand is: awarding him compensatory damages of $50 million, awarding him a maximum permitted of the punitive damage of $350,000, and we know he was awarded that plus the $10 million. Policy language: you are insured by Travelers Commercial Insurance Company under policy number XYZ, effective November 14, 2018. Effective November 2014. So this is a very interesting date. I cannot find evidence that this is a renewable policy versus this is a new policy. The policy effective November 14th, 2018. Well, let's take a quick gander at something which could be completely coincidence. Email sent November 6th to Jody Gottlieb. This is her PR person. I don't know if you can see this. I have to make it a little bit smaller or you won't be able to see the whole thing. Oh, it's a long one. So I'd like your and Amber's thoughts on doing op-ed in which she discusses the ways in which survivors of gender-based violence have been made less safe and how people can take actions. It could be time for somewhere after November 14th. So we've got a correlation date there. I do know that the New York Marine policy is new. I don't know about the Travelers policy, but that's a heck of a coincidence. So on November 6th, Jody Gottlieb was contacted with Amber, obviously, to do an op-ed, and they were hoping to get it out November 14th. And here she is getting the policy effective November 14th. That's a coincidence or not. So maybe this is a new one. The policy has a limits of $500,000 for personal injury. So New York Marine is $1 million, and this is $500,000 for the judgment. The defense apparently has no limits. They'll spend as much money on a defense. The policy contains the following insurance agreement associated with definitions. We know what personal injury is. We know it's about defamation. Okay. The policy also contains the following exclusions that could be relevant to this matter in personal injury: arising out of an act Amber Heard commits or conspires to commit with the knowledge of the act could violate the rights of another and would inflict personal injury. Well, if she was lying and she knew when she wrote this op-ed, she was hurting Johnny's reputation. Arising out of oral, written, or electronic publication of material, if done by or at the direction of the insured with knowledge of its falsity. So right here in their offer letter, they're saying, look, we're going to cover you up to $500,000. We're going to pay for your defense. But if we find out you did this intentionally lying, which the jurors did, not only they're not going to make the coverage, but from the prior paragraph, it's suggesting they could ask for their defense money back. Coverage analysis: because Mr. Depp has asserted that you disparaged him in the Washington Post op-ed, Travelers will defend you in this matter. Disparagement is a potentially covered offense under your homeowner's policy. I find this also interesting. This is a homeowner's policy, if I didn't mention that before, and I have no idea what home she owned back in November 14, 2018, when this policy was taken out. She bought a home in January of 2019 in California. That's pretty much public knowledge. But I have no idea what home she owned to get a homeowner's insurance policy. And if it was a rental, it would have said rental policy. It wouldn't say homeowners. It would be rental policy. So that's an interesting thing. I wonder what house she owned. Disparagement is potentially covered under your homeowner's policy. As noted above, there are exclusions that could apply. While we think it unlikely, should Mr. Depp prove that you were referring to him in the op-ed and that your statements were knowingly false and intended to harm him, Travelers would have no obligation to pay any resulting award. Well, that's exactly what the jury's done. Mr. Depp also demands punitive damages. Please be aware that the policy does not cover punitive damages. Well, it doesn't matter because he was awarded so much more than the $500,000 anyway. California has determined that insurance for punitive damages are against public policy. Well, that's the same exact claim that New York Marine is making. Mr. Depp's demand for attorney's fees is also not covered by the policy, but in most instances, the court cannot award attorney's fees to the plaintiff, which they did not. You have retained Brown George Ross in Los Angeles to represent you in this matter. We have also been informed that you retained Kaplan in New York and a firm in Fairfax that they don't even identify to represent you. Well, we have the right to select counsel for you. Ding, ding, ding. They have a right. A lot of the arguments we're going to hear is like Travelers saying, no, 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 we always offered independent. They may have offered it, but they had a right to appoint counsel. Although we have a right to select counsel for you, we have no objection to the retentions, which is exactly what New York Marine did the same thing. We have a right to appoint someone for you, but we're already happy with who you're using, which was Cameron McAvoy at the time. Please be aware, however, that we will only pay for one firm to represent you. Furthermore, we will only pay that firm at the rates we ordinarily pay for the work of this kind in this jurisdiction in Virginia. Those rates are $290 per hour for partners, $235 per hour for associates, and $110 per hour for paralegals. So they set a budget. They said, look, we'll pay for whoever, but we're only paying the standard rates in the jurisdiction, which is in Fairfax. All associates who work on this matter must have 4 or more years of experience. We also have specific billing guidelines for counsel, and a copy of which I've included. The invoices should be sent to me via email, and I will pay for them based on the rates described and the application of our guidelines. We will also only pay for work performed after the lawsuit was tendered to us. That was I think they said it was in the beginning of September, right? September 4th. So they're only paying, so nothing, everything before that, they're not paying for out of the pockets. Please let me know as soon as possible which firm you choose to have us pay our rates. And I think I saw in the papers she chose Kaplan as part of the defense team. Travelers expects to be kept up to date. Because of defamation is potentially covered by your homeowner's policy, Travelers has agreed to defend you in this action. Travelers coverage determination has been based on the information that's been made available to us. So this is signed by Pamela Johnson. So she can't claim that some other adjuster promised her things that Pamela didn't know about. And she CC'd Eric George on this. But she only refers to local counsel. She doesn't refer them by name. Yes, Moonshade, I have seen that she bought a house in Yucca Valley, but that was not until January of 2019. So what homeowner's policy did she have? What home did she own in September of 2018? Now, these are some interesting emails. So this is from New York Marine to Pamela Johnson, and this is dated September 30th. So this is, you know, they've both agreed on October 1st to accept the policy. So this is right before they've issued the acceptance letters to Amber Heard's people. Pamela, I wanted to touch base with you again on this. As discussed, you intend to issue a reservation of rights based on the international acts exclusion, under which you will offer our insured independent counsel. That's not what that letter said, though, which appears to be a New York City firm for a Fairfax, Virginia venue. So that would be Kaplan. Reserving rights under the intentional acts exclusion is not necessary. I'm sorry, not international. Reserving rights under the intentional acts exclusion is not necessary, as coverage for willful acts is not insurable as a matter of public policy, just like punitive damages. There's an attachment which we don't have. If you reserve rights by simply saying, to the extent the California law does not permit an insurer to indemnify the insured, no indemnity can be provided. You address both willful acts and punitive damages, and you still can control the defense, as there is no conflict of interest under California law. Practically speaking as well, a jury finding willful actions in connection with the op-ed is slim to nil. They didn't think Johnny had a case. They were not worried about taking on this defense because they thought that Johnny wasn't going to win. Look at this. The willful actions connection with the op-ed is slim to nil. So they did not, well, maybe he would win, but they didn't, they thought maybe by by mistake, an unintentional tort, but this was not. Okay, I just saw something, did a quick Google search. Did a quick Google search, and you can buy homeowners insurance before you buy a home. Mortgage lenders actually require it 3 months ahead, though. You can't insure something you don't own. What I understand what you're saying, you can probably lock in a price and the homeowners insurance goes into effect the day you close. But what you're suggesting is if I bought homeowners insurance on my neighbor's house because I'm thinking of buying it 3 months ahead, and it burnt down, my insurance isn't going to cover a house I don't actually own. So, and I was a real estate agent, so that part of it I understand. I mean, from looking at that point of view, it doesn't make sense to me that an insurance company would pay damages on a house I don't own. So maybe you can order it ahead of time to get it ready for closing, because maybe your mortgage requires it. A lot of mortgages require you to have homeowners insurance in order to issue the binder on your mortgage. So your final approval. So that could be it. So taking away the publicity aspect of the case, which Roberta Kaplan may make worse with headlines, this is a fairly straightforward case factually. Having local counsel such as Cameron McAvoy, who has already been on board, and seems like the best approach. All I ask you is you revisit your rights of reservation strategy, and let me know if you can reserve on the public policy issues so you can control the defense. So basically, you've got two insurance companies, and New York Marine is like, fine, we'll let you be the head on this, but we've already said we want to use, this is a Virginia case. Why are you not using Virginia counsel for the defense? That should be the primary firm office. That's what we want to do. Why are you picking a New York office, which is Kaplan, for a Virginia case? You should be having a local firm because, first of all, Amber Heard's required to have a local firm for her case. She can't not have a Virginia case. Pam comes back. I'm in trial today, but we'll call you on a break. Steve tries again. Can we talk today on this case? We also insure Amber Heard, and I was told Travelers already assumed her defense in this defamation suit. I see that at least 4 law firms are involved for the defense, and I want to discuss the defense arrangement. And that's it. So we're stuck. And here's what we're talking about. Travelers provided the independent policy November 14th. And I showed you this letter November 14th. So it's possible. That's a new policy. Did Amber get a home from Johnny? No, all of his properties were owned prior to their marriage with community rights in California. No, she didn't get any physical property from him. I've read that divorce decree from head to toe. It's included in her April 11th reply for venue dismissal. She included it in there. So yeah, it's definitely not any property from Johnny. Did I miss any questions so far? I heard Elaine has a $5 million plus judgment for herself. Elaine ends up with Amber's special rates. Where does she? I'm just checking some questions here real quick. I believe the lawyer. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of great lawyers out there. This is the lawyer, he's followed it. Uncivil Law has done it, and Hogue Law I've seen. And I haven't seen Emily do it yet. Not sure if you put question in front of it, I might find it faster. And of course, super chats are open, and that'll pop it up for me. All right, so we have this. Now, here's what's interesting. So we just read both policies. Both policies said, I get the insurer company says, I get to choose the lawyer, but I'm going to let you use yours. New York Marine is like, look, this is a Virginia case. You have to have a Virginia law firm. You don't have a choice. But Travelers is going with Kaplan. And both of them say, look, we only pay for one lawyer. So that makes me wonder, we've got 4 law firms. They don't pay back to the beginning. They only pay from when the claim was filed. What I think happened, I actually don't know what happened, but I can only guesstimate, is Kaplan came in and said, hey, how are you going to pay me? And Amber goes, I got to pay all these firms. She goes, well, have you ever checked a homeowner's insurance policy? That's one thing. The other thing is, back in November when she was writing this op-ed, somebody might have said, hey, if you're going to write this op-ed and not name Johnny, but we know how litigious he is, it might be smart of you to take out a policy. So, we have 2 policies that were taken out, one well before the op-ed, and one right as the op-ed was being done. I have not set up a P.O. box. How can you support me? PayPal. PayPal is in my about page, and I'll try and put it on every description of every video. So PayPal. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. So, oh, okay. You think black belt? Maybe, but he's UK, so I'm not sure he'd fully understand the same tones of the American insurance and American law. But yeah, I think he may have covered it too. Her divorce attorney is different than these lawyers. Yeah, that was Samantha Spector, and Pierce O'Donnell was the criminal attorney she brought on. So let's look at this really quick. This is I'm the Agent. On March 2019, Amber Heard was sued. We know that. Travelers agreed to defend her under the reservation of rights. ProSight did the same. She is admitting they're now finally on the same page, but not necessarily with the same lawyers. The underlying action has been hotly litigated. Travelers has spent more than $8 million in attorney fees. That was April 18th. I mean, the litigation had just started. I'm betting we have spent more than $8 million in attorney's fees. Doesn't even include the trial fees yet. And expenses defending Amber Heard. Well, I would understand expenses could be her expert witnesses, right, in defending her. This is included paying law firms in Virginia, New York, California for extensive discovery and other work. Well, that's interesting because ProSight said we're only going to pay one firm only, one firm. Travelers has now said they paid $8 million for law firms in Virginia, New York, and California. And why this is important is I'm trying to figure out Amber Heard's claims of $6 million because I understand that she had to pay her fees from March until September, but I don't think that was $6 million worth. And if Travelers is saying they covered Virginia, New York, and California, then where's Amber Heard's $6 million payout coming from that she's claiming it came out of her own pocket? This has been a very challenging and time-consuming case for the litigants, the lawyers, and for me. It has required, and it continues to require, an extraordinary commitment of my time and attention throughout the case. I have been in frequent contact with Ms. Heard and her chosen attorneys who are defending her. I have been an active part of the defense team. Well, here's an interesting statement. Okay, so what's happened is she sued New York Marine. Travelers sued New York Marine, says, hey, you need to pay us 50%. And I explained that as if they had gone out to dinner and Travelers ordered all this extra food because they're covering all these firms. New York Marine ordered one dish, the chicken parm, because they only will pay for one firm. And at the end of their dinner, Travelers is now saying, hey, judge, make them pay 50% of the restaurant bill. Make them pay 50%. So that's the basic argument. Yeah, trust account. I'll explain the trust account. So yes, she didn't buy the house until January 2019. Sorry, guys, if I jump to comments, but I see them fast enough. I'll try and get them. So they've sued New York Marine. So New York Marine has countersued. And the judge has set a schedule like, okay, well, great. This is going to be your discovery cutoff. And now Travelers was like, whoa, wait, time out. I can't meet that discovery schedule because I'm sitting in court every day. And New York Marine goes, ooh, tough on you. You filed the lawsuit. You know the demands. You know the case. You need to bring your discovery. I mean, if you're suing me, you need to bring the discovery on time. And she's trying to say, I can't do this because I'm stuck and sitting here in the court every day, helping with the defense. LauraB, light giver. $6 million was around the number paid through the end of April. Well, they just said it was $8 million. They just said here it was $8 million that they paid. And this is April 18th. So that's where it's not $6 million, it's $8 million. I don't know where Amber Heard's $6 million number came from. New York Marine policy was commercial insurance. It's both liability insurance. One is funded by her homeowners. So she owns a home that she bought this insurance on that includes personal liability. The other one is her commercial insurance for her loan out company that also has liability insurance for personal injury. So this is a personal injury case for defamation. Okay. Did I get that? All right. So going forward, this has been a very challenging case. I have been active as part of the defense team. Well, one of the arguments about I have to not always follow the comments because then I lose my train of thought. One of the arguments about that Travelers was making against New York Marine, like, no, the insured should have a right to choose their own counsel. Therefore, there could be no conflict of interest. that the lawyers only serve one master. They only serve their client. They only serve Amber Heard. They only take direction from Amber Heard. So this seems a major conflict of interest all of a sudden when she says, I've been an active part of the defense team, because that seems a conflict of interest. She should not be an active part of the team. She's supposed to get feedback. She's supposed to get status reports. She's supposed to get updates. She's supposed to get bills to make sure that they're doing what is covered. I'm not going to pay for something that's not covered, which is another interesting that's going to come up that I'm curious about. Right now, we have not seen any itemized bills. They'll probably be protected. There is a protective order now. Yes, she had paid Elaine over $2.5 million. And that was in 2021 when they reached their budget and they had to up the budget. Yeah, they had to up the budget. And we'll be getting into more specific documents. Right now, we're just at the beginning of it. On April 11th, the trial began in the underlying action. The first week of trial just finished. I was there every day. I was in court. I saw her. I mean, we were trying to figure out who she was. We thought she was an assistant. I was there every day. She was on her laptop sitting there. Trial's expected to go on till May 27th, 7 weeks. Of course, there's 1 week off. I plan to continue to monitor the trial in person full time. To do this, I'm staying in a rented place near the courthouse in Fairfax County, Virginia, where I expect to stay there the entire 7 weeks. If you were watching this trial, you saw Johnny and Amber arrive every day. You saw them leave every day. This woman got in the same car with Amber. She arrived with her and left with her every single day. It was reported that Amber rented a house for $22,000 a month. I'm wondering if they went somewhere and picked this woman up, or she was in that house with them. And if she was staying with Amber Heard, I wonder if the expense of that house is part of the defense expenses and that the insurance was paying for that house. This seems to be exorbitant to me. I mean, I'm starting to feel like with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp relationship, Amber Heard and Eve Barlow, Amber Heard and Io, Amber Heard and Rocky, she has this way about her to glom people in. And I wonder if she's glommed this woman in, Pamela Johnson, that she is going over and above what that letter promised. It just seems odd to me. So she's staying in the house. We already know about Amber's house. They came and went in the car together. I wonder if they paid for the house. So she goes on to say, I'm rented a place. This is far from my home and office in Minnesota. I'm providing Travelers and ProSight with daily reports regarding the progress of the trial. I also continue to support the defense team. This week, for example, I was able to assist in getting an adverse witness disqualified for discovering via social media research that she had been following the testimony of other witnesses when the court had ordered that no witness could read or listen to any part of the trial prior to testimony. In short, my support role in Ms. Heard's defense has been substantive. It's also ongoing. Well, excuse me, but I sat in this court every day, and that is not what happened. And I just want to bug her out here for a minute. And anybody who watched this. So let's take a look at what did happen that day in court. We don't need sound on. Does this work if I do this? I think I just stopped sharing it. All right. If I do that, it doesn't share. So let me do it this way. Okay. All right. If I do a full screen, it's going to pop us out, I guess. We don't have to watch this with sound, but watch what's here. Here's the Travelers agent right here, sitting on her laptop doing her thing. Here's Eve on her phone. I think this is one of Amber's assistants. This is Elaine's daughter who runs the IT. We've got Nadelhoft. We've got Rottenborn. I can't tell who that is. Obviously, you see the players. Let's watch, but particularly watch the distance between Eve. Eve's got her shoulder to her, and what is going on.
We've got on the.
They've sent something to Rottenborn. She's making note. She looks like she's looking over to see what's going on, but I don't get the sense that she's really engaged in this. And I put the wrong one first. Wait a minute. Sorry, guys. My bad. This is where it starts. Again, she's doing her own thing, looking on the computer. Here's Eve. Let's watch what they're doing here. turned around Eve. Eve's doing her thing. They've passed a note. He bends down and gets it. He's looking. She's on her computer. She's not paying attention. Eve's into it. They're discussing. There's Eileen's daughter pointing. She's not in it at all. She's completely out of the discussion. Rottenborn's into it. Yeah, I think Pam lied. She's trying to make herself look more important to the judge that, hey, I can't meet my discovery requirements because I'm so important in doing this job. And I booted a witness. Got sent to Amber. Amber hands her phone over to Nadelhoff so they can both look at what's going on. And what did they see? Well, what we all know now, we'll talk about that, was who's on the witness stand is Gina Deuter. She posted on her Instagram account a year ago, hey, we wanted a great motion or something. We're winning in this case, right? It appears to me that Eve Barlow took a screenshot of that and cut off the date, sends it around to everybody. And they're like, oh, looks like Gina Deuter has been on social media. This has nothing to do with Pam. I don't think she looks oblivious to what's actually caused something to happen. Everybody is looking at their phones and stuff. Eve is passing things around. So this is where the cropped IG post comes in. So that's the end of that. Now let's go back to this one. This is what happens next. So they're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We've got this phone. We've got this post. We've got Gina Deuter's up there. Let's tell Elaine. Elaine, we got a problem here because we think she's been on social media. We're being led to believe she's been on social media. Pamela Johnson's not involved in this. And I hope your Marine figures this one out. And they're like, excuse me, we need to interrupt you, Judge, because she should not be giving testimony. We need to find out if, in fact, she's been on social media. The only reason Gina was questioned about this was because of Eve Barlow's fake cropped photo. But the judge does have the right to ask. Sadly, she didn't ask all the questions. She asked Gina, have you been on social media? Yes. Have you been watching about this case? Well, she said you couldn't avoid it. It came back. So you've seen clips of testimony. I've seen clips. You can no longer testify. But I have to tell you, when I was sitting here, 2 Depp fans had already been kicked out. And when I saw this commotion going on with Eve, I thought, oh my God, they're coming after another one of us. They're coming after another one of us. Some of us is going to go. I mean, I broke out in a cold sweat. You are going to see Elaine look back at the audience. That's not the word. Spectators multiple times into the gallery. And I swear to you, I thought she was looking right at me. I was right in her line of sight. And every time she looked back, I mean, there was people on either side of me that looked at me and said, and I thought, oh my God, I'm the next to go. I'm the next to go. She kept looking and looking back and looking at me. And at one point she pointed, and I swear to God, she pointed at me. And I thought, they're kicking me out. I was positive that was happening. I broke out in a cold sweat. So let's see this play out. They are just, oh, I'm sorry. I should say this is from Lily James. They are discussing Eve, which I didn't know that at the time. They're looking back at Johnny's row, which is where I was sitting and right behind them. They were all sitting in the first row at the time, which later in the trial was lawyers only. Looked again. She pointed even. Next we saw Johnny's team walks back and tells the front row, who are the friends and family non-lawyers, have to leave and go back. They have to go to the back of the room. So they get up and go. They follow the rules. Elaine continues to discuss with Eve, saying, you've got to go back. You've got to go. And Eve wasn't going to go. But I was sitting there sweating to death thinking, oh, the judge is fed up with all this social media stuff. And one of us is going to go. We really thought one of us was going. So there's Eve. Look, she's ignoring this. She's not moving. She is not moving. They go back up and say, Judge, Eve's not moving. She's not a lawyer. She can't sit there. It was very scary. I'm telling you, it was awful the way they just kept taking people, Depp fans out. So there you go. So yeah, Eve, they finally got Eve going back in the room. She started, she pulled out her computer. She started text typing. And the rule was if you were in the front row, you were allowed to use your phone or your laptop. But your front row was only meant to be for lawyers and defense support. So that's why Pamela Johnson was able to stay there. She was part of the defense support, I guess. But once Eve went back to the row, she started using her laptop, and the deputies all took her away. So again, we're on a panic when we see every time we see deputies come down the walkway, the aisle there, we're like, oh God, another one of us is going. Eve was taken out of the room, and we were so excited. I mean, we just couldn't do anything, but we were so excited. Well, darn if Eve didn't come back in and sit down. So apparently they took her out of the room to give her a chance and explain, look, now that you're in the back row, you're not allowed to use your laptop. You're not allowed to use your media devices. You're not allowed to. Or maybe they weren't clear enough and she didn't understand. So she comes back in, and a few minutes later, she's got her phone out and she's sneaking her phone down, and she's live tweeting off her phone. And the deputies caught her, or at least Johnny's team caught her. So there was a hearing that Friday. They have hearings on Friday. So the hearing April 15th. So what have we got? We've got Pam over here blatantly lying that she got Gina Deuter's evicted. That's not true. I mean, that's just not true. Yeah, she didn't do it. She didn't do it. So we've got Pamela Johnson claiming, I was giving a service to this defense. I can't go and do discovery. I have to be here every day because I just got a witness disqualified. I was able to assist in getting out. That didn't happen. We all saw her. She sat there doing nothing. It was all Eve doing it. So we got Eve. Now we have the hearing. Okay, we've got the court reporter. Everybody, yes, Your Honor. We're all going to get going. Raise your hands. Yep. Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, bench you for Johnny Depp. I have a preliminary matter, and it's a very serious manner. Judge A says, okay, it won't take much time. Okay, may I approach? Yes, sir, because he wants to show the phone. Your Honor, we are moving, or Mr. Depp is moving for the permanent exclusion of Eve Barlow from, Judge A says, Eve Barlow? Who's Eve Barlow? Eve Barlow is a journalist and Ms. Heard's current girlfriend who's been sitting in the front row. Judge says, okay. Yesterday, and the court ordered to the back row, and then she was later, as I discussed in a minute, thrown out at 4:31 p.m. by Lieutenant Porter. But if I could explain to the court, Judge says, okay. When the court is seeing, you will recall yesterday, Mr. Rottenborn came up with what was Miss Barlow's phone. Okay, Mr. Chu, and she showed you the first document that you're looking at. Is that right? Nope, 6 down here. And she showed you the first document. Okay, document is anything of any kind of exhibit, and this happens to be the phone, right? Okay, the text. This is a text from Miss Deuter's, Gina Deuter's. We understand that she was properly excluded, but this is what he showed Your Honor saying to the court, representing to the court that Miss Deuter's had texted since the start of the trial. And Your Honor will see that Mr. Rottenborn showed you it did not have a date. And if you look at the second document, you will see, Your Honor, I'm sorry, it's Instagram post. So now we understand, we all understood it, but these guys, they just don't know their social media, and neither does Judge A. So we showed you this Instagram post. It's twice. Eve had it, cropped off the date. Here's the original Instagram post. Judge A says, not like I know the difference anyway, but thanks for the clarification. Because given my age, they joke about not knowing what Instagram is without a post. The date. The second document you're looking at was her post, and it shows the date, which makes it very clear that this was January 8th, 2021, well, long before this trial. That is the material misrepresentation Ms. Deuter's posted this during the London trial. So they tried to, and it actually wasn't even during the London trial. They're all seeing that we won something, and they're forgetting that there was motions and orders that they won. This is very disturbing. We believe it was a fraud upon the court. We believe that Mr. Rottenborn, as an officer of the court, should have taken a look at what he was handing up to the court, especially since it was handed to him by someone improperly sitting in the first row, a reporter and Ms. Heard's girlfriend. And that's not where it ends, Your Honor. Unfortunately, Ms. Barlow has been passing notes to and from Ms. Heard from the beginning of the trial, and she's been sending out live tweets throughout the trial. Judge A says, hold on. She's still sending out tweets. She was at 4:31 p.m. yesterday when she was removed from the court. If I might approach, and I'll do it one more time. This is Miss Barlow's post during Miss Vasquez's opening, and you'll see her. And Judge A says, so she was tweeting from the courtroom. Mr. Chu says, yeah, she was tweeting in the courtroom. She was sitting right there tweeting during Miss Vasquez's opening. Your Honor may remember that Miss Vasquez said that Miss Heard was giving the performance or would be giving the performance of her lifetime. So she says in real time, actually, it was Vasquez who was giving the performance of her lifetime. That's what the tweet was. So this is contemporaneous with my colleague's opening. She's live tweeting and getting it all out to the public. And finally, and this is the last time, I'm sorry, Your Honor, we'll remember that when we first raised this issue, Your Honor ordered people to the back. So Miss Barlow reluctantly left the first seat and went to the back. And this is the tweet that got her thrown out the last time. What does Amber Heard hope to achieve? She has a gorgeous 1-year-old daughter, and she said she was beginning the rest of her life in 2021, 12 months after her mother died. And it was that point the Lieutenant Porter saw her violating the court's order and asked her to leave. Now, Your Honor, if this were just an isolated, well, actually, I'll take that back. It's more. Judge A says, if you violate the order, you violate the order. It's more than enough to get her thrown out permanently, but it's also, it takes place in a context, Your Honor. We'll remember the inappropriate disclosures of the sexual assault violations in violation of the protective order, perhaps more egregiously because people weren't on, they were on the WebEx call. So this was back in March, that there was a pretrial conference that they were going to live stream the case. And there was a protective order in place that you couldn't say certain things. And it was a live WebEx call. Courthouse News was on it. And that's when Elaine lost her crap and said, you can't live stream it. My client's claiming rape. And that was part of the protective order. 2 days before the trial, Ms. Heard posted on Instagram her opening argument. And I understand none of the jurors referred to it, but she made very clear in an Instagram post that that Mr. Depp's name wasn't mentioned in her op-ed, which was the primary feature of Mr. Rottenberg's opening, and that was very egregious. So Amber Heard put out their defense before a jury was seated, and anyone could have seen it. Then during the opening, to try to throw me off, Ms. Braderhoff made an improper objection saying, you know, and she tried to mention it. The point is, Your Honor, the court's orders must mean something. We're trying to play by the rules, and it's outrageous what Ms. Barlow has done. She was thrown out yesterday, and we are risking a very limited form of relief is that a very limited form of relief is that she be barred from attending the rest of the trial. All right. Ms. Braderhoff, what do you have to say? Thank you, Your Honor. I actually had absolutely no clue that he was going to raise this morning, so I'm responding it cold. Oh, poor Lane. Poor Lane. First of all, Eve Barlow is not a journalist. God, Eve wants that for the record. Second of all, she's not Miss Heard's. Court says, well, you know, I really don't care about that. Just, she was tweeting live in my courtroom. This tweet is 4:31. I don't know about that, Your Honor. Well, I do. I can read it. Whoops, sorry, guys. I'm getting all excited here. It says 4:31. She's showing Elaine during the opening. I know she, and I know the deputies took her out because she was texting. That's against the court order. I don't let anybody, if I find anybody else texting, they don't get to come back in. So why would she be able to come back in? Braderhoff is, and I have no knowledge of this, Your Honor. Judge says, I know you didn't. And I understand that. That's why they're not sanctioning him. And I mean, like I say, when people were passing notes, I thought, well, legal teams. That's why I gave you the first row, because of the legal teams. And then more information comes to me in bits and pieces that if it's not the legal team, okay, so move back. Braderhoff says, but then she's still texting. So, and let me back up just a minute here, Braderhoff. Miss Barlow was not here during the opening. She was not present in the courtroom. So, well, I didn't pull that picture, but we all know, you saw it live stream. Eve has been in that seat every day from the start of the trial. She was absolutely there for the opening, absolutely there for the opening statements. Well, she was present when she did this live tweet in my courtroom. And that may be, Your Honor. I have no knowledge of it. I have no way to address that, Your Honor. Well, I do. Miss Barlow is not coming back to this courtroom during this trial. Okay, all right. That's it. She's gone. She's out. She's yeeted. Yeeted. And we have the order. So this important date here, April 15th. April 15th. Why is that important? Then we have the order. This date, April 15th. So let's keep this straight. Eve, not Pam Johnson, takes the screenshot, crops off the date intentionally, gives it to her defense, her lawyers. Her lawyers interrupt the trial. unfortunately, it leads to questioning that Gina does get disqualified. And now it comes out to prove that it was fraud, that she cut the date off. And Elaine and Rottenborn are standing there going, she made a fool of us. She interrupted this case and put us at risk for fraud. For fraud. So August 15th, Friday, I think this happened maybe Wednesday, because they had to wait till Friday motions. Well, I found something very interesting. This is Eve Barlow's Instagram account. She's talking about Passover, April 14th, the day before the hearing. She is back in her apartment in LA. She was yeeted out of Virginia, I think, by Amber Heard, or at least Amber Heard's defense team. They were like, you out of here. You humiliated us. You had us interrupt this court, and you cropped that date knowingly. Knowingly, you were lying. Had to have. You had to go so far down her Instagram account to find this. It didn't happen this week. I mean, the trial had only been going on for 3 or 4 days. Didn't happen this week. You had to go so far down. You had to know that this had nothing to do with this court case. That's why you cut the date off. You interrupted this case and you made these lawyers at risk for fraud. So April 14th, she is in LA. April 15th was the hearing. So everybody's been wondering, gee, what's the truth of the rumor that Eve and Amber are no longer friends? Well, here's one part of it. First part, she was yeeted. This is from her own Substack that she writes. I'm sitting here writing, and this was recent. This was the most latest one that she's put up. I'm sitting here writing this after spending 5 weeks more or less alone in a city. I was thriving in only a few years ago. So she's back in LA for 5 weeks at least. I'm alone because wherever I turn, there's a reason for me to no longer be considered, invited, remembered, thought of, loved, respected, befriended, or trusted. And those reasons amount to words, to thoughts, to opinions. Those reasons amount to my refusal to succumb to the sickness of woke. Those reasons amount to my commitment to remain interesting and self-possessed. I have been disempowered because of my integrity. Am I a journalist anymore? I really don't know. Well, Elaine Braderhoff doesn't think you are. What is a journalist in America in 2022? Is it someone who reports facts or someone who sues the mob? Well, she's not reporting facts from that Instagram screenshot. That's for sure. That's for dang sure. So no, Pamela Johnson is not being disingenuous when she claims that she was an important part of the defense and that she got Gina yeeted. And that was an important point I wanted to make. So we have the two policies. We have two insurance companies battling. And let's go back to finish that one out. So she's providing daily reports. I was able to get Gina out. The underlying action has been great media interest to help provide the litigants with some privacy protection. The court has entered into a protective order. So we have a copy of that. The existence of the protective order has made me particularly cautious about sharing information about the case. So again, this lawsuit against New York Marine is ongoing while this case is being litigated. And she's like, they're asking me to turn over discovery items that are covered by the protective order. And the trial isn't over yet, so there's still witnesses to come. So that protective order is in until the trial finishes. In this insurance case, ProSight, that's New York Marine, has served travelers with document demands, requests for admissions, and interrogatories. Accurate copies of those are attached here in Exhibit 3. The document demands, Exhibit 4, the request for admissions, excluding the exhibits to it, and the interrogatories. Among other things, ProSight demands a copy of travelers' entire claim file regarding the underlying action. ProSight also demands copies of the communications with defense counsel. These demands raise concerns on my part and travelers' part of the insurer's right to privacy, as well as her attorney's client's privilege. ProSight's interrogatories and its request for admissions probe travelers' contentions and the evidence supporting them. Some of the facts required to respond are uniquely within my knowledge. Travelers cannot effectively respond to the discovery without my active participation. And me is so very important. I can't leave the trial because the defense depends on me, which is kind of a conflict of interest. My point. As indicated above, I am tied up in Virginia and I will be for the next several weeks, estimated through May 27th. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Tan. I can't read it from here. Oh, Tan Tonga's mom. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a huge help, and I'm glad you're enjoying this. I had to do a lot of research on this one. So she's still avoiding providing this discovery. My unavailability also affects Travelers' ability to respond to ProSight's documents. She's suggesting, like, I'm the most important person here. Nobody else can provide documents except me, so discovery has to stop. During the pretrial and trial period, the claim has been in constant and substantial flux. I have work to do to ensure that it is properly updated and organized prior to its production to ProSight. I estimate that will take days, if not weeks, on my part. And she's talking about after trial. To produce the claim material is a multi-step process. After I update it, Travelers will perform computer searches through its internal e-discovery team. Then it will provide the material to the outside e-discovery vendor to process. Then it will provide the material to our counsel in this action for review and redaction. And then counsel will produce the documents to ProSight, subject to redactions and objections. This process is time consuming. It takes place over weeks. And again, it begins the days of work with me, which I am not available to do while I'm working full time on this trial because she's so big and important. For all reasons, I respectfully request that the court grant this application and stay this insurance case for a few months. She wanted to stop the trial in its place, the litigation part of it, in its place for 3 months. Now, when they filed this is the other lawyer. When they filed this lawsuit, they knew full well when the trial was going to be. They knew. So this is what they were asking for. They were asking for, this is the original dates that the judge set. This is when you have to provide everything. The reason this is bolded is because ProSight says, look, we're already giving them 2 extra weeks. We gave them till May 2nd. And I can't believe that there's nobody else in Travelers that can start providing us with stuff. So that's what they're fighting. I know the judge denied this. Travelers wrote up the order. People misinterpreted the order to mean that, yep, we're doing this, and it's not been stayed. There's a big red stamp denied on it. So what else have we got? Well, I was reading through some of the transcripts, and I found this really interesting. So at the end of this hearing, where they say you guys need to work this out, it's like they were arguing over the dismissal. I'll get back to that in the future, but this is what I found was important. The court says March 3rd is going to be the hearing date, and by March the 1st, I want a joint report that needs to be filed. This is Travelers. Very good. Thank you, Your Honor. Mark Peterson, because they're on the telephone, just let him know who's talking. This is the court. Great. Yeah, gentlemen. And you guys should tell your respective clients to just buck up and settle the case. I found this important because this is in March. We have the date here. This is there it is, March 28th. This is when this hearing was. And he's telling his clients, or telling the lawyers, you better tell your clients to buck up and settle this. So at first I took this to mean, and maybe it should is, Travelers in New York Marine should buck up and settle this. Well, I guess they could settle this, but this is a declaratory court. And all they're saying is, Judge, please tell us who should pay what. Is it 50-50? Is it 20-80? I'm not sure that's a settlement. I mean, I guess it could be. It'd be more like they just come to an agreement. So what could settle? I think what he was saying was tell your respective clients, meaning tell Travelers and New York Marine to get Amber Heard to settle that case that you're paying for the defense. Get that case settled. And Mr. Peterson, Travelers agent, says, from your lips to God's ears, Your Honor, Mark Peterson signing off. And why do I think this could be related to actually settling the case? Was Johnny did have a meeting. He was spotted in California in a parking garage that belongs to Brown Rudnick. And he was there, as it says, for like, I think it's down here further, 7 hours. He was there for 7 hours. So I don't know what kind of meeting Johnny has that he had to be in an office, but it sounds to me that that was the date that they were trying to work on the settlement. This is March 28th. They were still working on it, and obviously they didn't settle, thank God. But it sounds like the insurance companies were pushing to settle after all. The slim to none chance case they thought they were going to win. And this would have been what happened. Amber Heard gave her deposition. They had all the depositions there. See, the offer letter was way early. Now they've gone through discovery at this point, March 28, 2022. So now they know what case Johnny has. And they're like, yeah, we wish we would settle. And it didn't settle. So this is the homeowner's insurance that I said was issued. This is like ridiculously. So this is just some fun dates. On July 20th, Johnny filed this case against the UK. August 30th was the first letter to Brown Rudnick saying, hey, this is from NGN. Johnny has to waive the confidentiality so we can talk with Amber. September 5th. These are the important dates. There was an arbitration case. And then, so we know that September, this is around the time period here, August, that New York Marines case, insurance went into effect or renewed. And we know 11/14 is when the policy for Travelers began. So that is that. So how are you all doing? I have another question that's come up that people have said, hey, Vanguard also owns most of Travelers and Elon Musk is with Vanguard. So Elon Musk must be behind this. Not so fast. That's a big leap. And sad to say, Blackrock and Vanguard, they own almost everything. $20 trillion. They're these big investments. They own stock and so much stuff. Pretty much Vanguard, whatever you're looking at, Vanguard is the one who probably own it. Okay. All right. So if you have questions, come on, Laura's great. There's 2,000 watching, 77 likes. Those likes, and I really appreciate your helping me out. If I'm not doing something correctly, if you think I've said something wrong, let me know. Otherwise, I really appreciate your support. JD did not want to settle. So this is going to be question time. Question and answers, please. We've been here a little over an hour. So let's see if we can do this in 20 minutes or so. Johnny wouldn't have settled for anything less than her admitting it was a lie, and she would never do that. 100%. 100%. I don't think she would ever admit that. Look at that stupid statement from the divorce, where she basically said there was never intention harm. No one lied. No one lied for financial gain. Well, we know she did because she didn't donate. I'm doing great. Thank you. I just made it. Thank you for coming. It'll be on replay, but we're doing the questions. Yeah, Vanguard is huge investment firm. A lot of people will pull their money, and it could be anybody from, I think $1,000 is limited that you can join. And they take all this money and they invest it in other companies, and that's how you can get dividends. That you make charity donations through them. So yeah, Vanguard is one of the biggest. They're investing trillions of dollars between them and BlackRock. They're one of the biggest ones. So for someone to say Vanguard owns them, yeah, Vanguard owns almost everything. Why is MSM supporting Amber so hard? I don't know. They just won't backpedal. I mean, this whole garbage with NBC, this little documentary they did, Nate the lawyer, go his channel, fabulous. He did a really long live stream on that documentary, breaking it down, but he just put out a shorter edited version. And the stuff he's come up with, it's just awesome. It's just awesome, the game that Amber Heard and her team played. And then I just saw this Boozy put out some report. We're not seeing the report claiming that all this social media against Amber Heard, and CBS is reporting on it like it's fact. I just don't know why mainstream is just not accepting. This woman lied, and it's harmful to all survivors, to real victims. It's harmful, and we need to not support her. Even if they don't want to say, okay, Johnny is a victim, even if they don't want to accept that, accept the fact that this is not the hill you want to die on. This is not the woman you want to represent all victims. You just don't. I don't get it. Moving back up. Don't follow the markets. I don't know it. I just Googled and I kept finding that Vanguard owns so much. But yeah, obviously the economies are all over the list. Help me out. Smash the like button. Appreciate it. We have almost 2,000 people here. I'm not sure what the peak was, but that is awesome. Yeah, the divorce settlement is available on the Fairfax County website. I've been to it so many times. It's April 11th, 2019. It is the memorandum to dismiss for venue, and it's down further. You're going to get her declaration, which is the first time we heard her claim all these 12 incidents, no SA, but it's the first time we heard all these incidents she was claiming, and then further down she did attach the divorce agreement. Yeah, she got what she wanted. She wanted to be famous. She's oblivious. I mean, she really, this new defense thing now, she, with this dissociative disorder, we got histrionic disorder, and we have borderline, that they really believe, if they really believe they were abused, they're not lying because they really believe it. Woo. Yeah, Johnny didn't want a story, wanted this. He wanted his story out. He does. He did. He absolutely did. But Johnny is such a great guy. You have to understand, he didn't want her story out. He didn't want to hurt her either. He didn't want his witnesses to have to come out. He didn't want his sister to take the stand. So in that small choice, he would have probably liked to settle, but he wanted his truth out for his children, especially, if not for his own legacy and reputation. No snow here. It's hot. Not sure where you are, Belinda. I'm glad for that. I love how you research everything and break it down. I gained so much information. Yeah, there was a lot of information here today, and thank you for watching. So we have the 2 insurance letters of acceptance, and both of them say we have a right to appoint counsel. Both of them say you only get 1 counsel. Both of them say they're not going to pay prior to this claim you filed. So I'm not sure what you're going to see. Further arguments that just don't hold water. You had to have a Virginia counsel. So, Travelers said they're only going to pay local rates. So I'm not sure why they paid Kaplan. But in the end, we had Cameron McAvoy paid by New York Marine, who was hired by Amber Heard. We had Kaplan, who was hired. Oh, we had Eric George. Then we had Kaplan come in, and we know Travelers said they'll pay Kaplan. Kaplan brought in Rottenborn, a second Virginia company. Eric George left. Kaplan left. Kaplan left after they lost their Demore, to have the whole thing dismissed for because she didn't name him. And Kaplan's great statement of anyone with a command of the English language knows it wasn't about Johnny Depp. Right. She left. So then we were stuck, or Amber had Cameron McAvoy, she had Rottenborn, and she had Braderhall. So at that point, she has 3 Virginia counsel firms, separate firms, that insurance is supposed to pay for. Now, I've gone back in this other video, my original video, to show all these motions that they didn't communicate with McAvoy at all. In fact, when Rottenborn signed the motion, when he submitted the pro hac vici that for Kaplan to be admitted, he didn't even put McAvoy's name and Cameron McAvoy in the service list. I mean, they were like gone and forgotten, even though they were still on the case. They're like, guys, we're still here. We're working this case. We started before you got here. And they just completely ignored him, wiped him out. And they're like, look, if something goes wrong and y'all get sued for malpractice, we're going to get sued. And you're not helping us. You're not giving us any motion. So that's where this case is also going to unravel too. Why would they settle? He wanted to clear his name. I doubt Amber would do anything to clear Johnny's name. Yeah. Amber wanted to do it in a way that she could somehow come out to twist this. It's like, see, I didn't lie. I didn't admit to lying. Okay, the connection between Travelers and Elon through Vanguard. So we covered that. Vanguard owns everything. I honestly don't think it's a connection at all. Travelers wants New York Marine to pay their independent counsel and argue both insurance companies had conflicts of interest, so that what docs and case file would be privileged from New York Marine. Well, she's claiming that she's been helping with the defense, so she has everything that they have that was protected because they need to know how this case is going. That's my only guess. And a lot of those would be the motions that just got unsealed. So maybe some of that. But I don't know. I don't know what she's participated in that she would have such privileged information other than emails with the lawyers. She would have that. Oh, I'm going to have to drink. I'm having a Coke. Yes, don't tell me how bad Diet Coke is. I'm seeing rumors. I don't know who's dating who. You're saying Amber has a boyfriend. I don't know. Somebody said that she lost her book deal. I don't know if she actually had it. I think that was way far up. I don't know if she actually had a book deal, but I think all of the lawyers are pretty much saying Let me have this one back. They're all saying, like, look, she's just been found guilty of a defamation suit. What publisher in his right mind would let her write a book to republicate the very thing she was found guilty for? She should be republishing them. And the publisher would be on the hook. I think the publisher, knowing that she lost this defamation, editors will look over this book and said, you were just found liable for making this statement. If you make this statement in the book again and we let you, we might be liable. So I can't. So that's how I think they're saying. People are saying, like, there's no publisher in his right mind that would publish a book, a tell-all book. But what I reported before, I think Johnny Depp is a small part of her tell-all life. You know, she did Everybody Loves Mandy Lane, which Weinstein paid for. He ultimately bought and released. She might have some casting couch stories, Me Too stories, Elon stories. She may have a lot other Me Too tell-all stuff that has nothing to do with her few years with Johnny. Okay. What else? If I missed any questions. Pamela, yeah, this is the stuff she's claimed she did in court. We just proved that she did nothing in court for Gina Deuter. That was all Eve Barlow. And any rumors about Amber Heard and Eve Barlow still being friends, it doesn't look like it. The only thing I can think of is she's still defending her, hoping she'll take her back, which is kind of what Rocky did. I don't know if any of you remember. Rocky kept liking Amber's posts and commenting, and like she wanted to be back in the fold. I don't know what her attraction is to people. I really don't. She got Josh. Supposedly they have an email from Adam Waldman. Jackson Bryan put this out. Adam Waldman to the team saying, hey, I just met with Josh Drew. And he said, yeah, Rocky was hiding in the closet. Yeah. There was a threesome going on with Elon. Yeah, she was cheating on Johnny. He had all this in a conference. And all of a sudden, Amber Heard has lunch with him, and Josh is completely flipped. What is this magical fairy dust he's putting on people? The KoolAid. I call it the KoolAid. I'm glad you like the deep dives. Insurance is tough. Insurance isn't, interesting like actual people. But I'll try and do my best to make this relate to the people, to Amber and Johnny. Love Yeeted. Yeeted is Emily D. Baker. I learned so much from her. I watch her channel all the time. So I give kudos and credit to her for Yeeted. I give kudos and credit for her for teaching me how to say these words, like Prohack Vici and Limini. I would lie mine. Prohack Vice. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of AG fans watching and looking to dox and looking for reasons to shut down this channel also. Sure, they are a walk of shame and trying to take down whatever is happy for Johnny. Yeah, I am. It's unbelievable the attacks they're doing on the YouTubers. I did a Brooks Depp series before it settled. If you're curious about that case, the truth of that case, because I actually have Brooks's deposition that I go over and Brooks' statement of the case. It's crazy. So maybe I'll get a pass now that I'm doing insurance. I came in after the case, so maybe they're not going to come after me so hard. Eve is poor me. If she kept her mouth shut and not offend everyone, she'd still be employed. Yeah, nobody wants anything to do with her. Seriously, nobody. Her little pity party, public pity party. I did not buy her Substack, by the way. If you go to Eve Barlow and you search Eve Barlow Substack, it'll say have a look before you buy or something, and you get to see the first part of whatever she's writing. So it's there for you to see. I did not pay any money. I didn't give her any money. I did not give her any money. Yeah, she can't afford the wine that Johnny got. Ed White testified that Johnny's wine bill went way down to almost zero once Amber was out of the picture. I hate the term woke. Each piece to me at least does not indicate she and Amber aren't friends. That it doesn't indicate that. That's a double negative, Steve. Are you saying you don't think Eve and Amber are friends or are not friends? She's blaming woke culture for turning her into a non-journalist. It sounds like to me a poor me piece. It is a poor me, but also it sounds like she's very lonely. She mentioned. Let's go back. Let me get the words. I thought she said she was friendless. I'm no longer to be considered invited, remembered, thought of, loved, respected, befriended, or trusted. I think that's beyond journalism. I think her entire social group has dumped her. That doesn't sound professional. That sounds personal. Seems to me that Travelers has cause to yeet Pamela from their company. They seem to have put in writing what they indeed had a limit and all expenses had to be approved. I know. I'm reading that letter going, what the heck is Pam talking about? And then I see Pam is the one who signed the letter. So I'm really looking forward to going through these documents with you all so we can see like some of the stuff that's already leaked that they had spent over their $2.5 million cap of February of 2021. And New York Marine says, if you had enforced your own rules about rates limitations, this wouldn't have happened. So then she finally had to go back to Elaine Braderhoff and said, okay, you're going to have to bring your rates down to this normal rate. We can't keep paying out this. This is too much. And I talked to so many lawyers on YouTube that have said they have never seen, especially Legal Bites, Alita, they have never seen so many motions filed in a case. So many motions. And Elaine, I think, is known for the settlement queen. And I think she's known as, I'll pile you with paperwork. I will bury you in paperwork. Run up your legal fees so you'll want to settle. And boy, did she pile on the motions. And she didn't do it just here. She did it in California, too. Motion to compel after motion to compel on subpoenas. Because that's where all the subpoenas were heard, that for California residents and California businesses. There's a good reason she's untrusted. God knows she's never made it through. I'm sorry. She'd never admit it, though. Okay, she's not trusted. I guess Eve. Some politician or someone with influence to protect her so Australia can't get her. I just saw Jeanette Levy's interview with Barnaby, and he is suggesting that there is some Australian wanted to sweep her on the rug. He's blaming the USA for not extraditing her, or arresting her instead. Well, I don't think you can do that without a charge. And that's what Jeanette kept asking him. But he did consider that there might be at least one Australian person in this particular board that wanted to sweep it under the carpet. Robert Boone, I remember when they false flagged your Twitter account. It's good you got it back, but it absolutely disgusted. Yeah, let me see if I can get you, find you down here. I was going upwards. I don't know why this stupid thing. I can see the tweets, but I can't put them up. Oh. Will her co-conspirators be held accountable? No, it's too late. There's no charges going to be filed. I don't think they're going to go after perjury. I am looking for Robert Boone. I can read it's just bringing up the screen. It's the stupid system isn't very good. I checked with everybody. They all said the same thing. You've just got to look for it. I just have to look for it. Okay. Oh, Suzanne McFadden. Okay, I'm going to cry. I'm not worth it. Whew. Is promo for coded shout out? Oh, I can see the turd. I don't know. Oh, German. The German. Okay, is it promo for a German coded shout out? I don't know. I did not see that. So you're talking about the German tabloid that I know Adam has used. Promo 4. I assume, is that going to be like another documentary or something? Maybe you can help enlighten me. Suzanne, that's way too much money. And I'm so thank you. Okay, A. Is AH. Yeah, I'm figuring it's about Amber, but I'm not sure what you mean what the shout out was. You think, are they doing a documentary, or are they done something not nice? Or you think it's a coded shout out? That seems to be a positive thing. Promo 4. I assume that's an upcoming something. Oh, I'm still looking for this other super chat. Yay, I found you. Thank you, Robert Bourne. I remember when the false flagged my Twitter account. Yeah, they got me out for spamming and manipulating a platform. I use the word update all the time. Update Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard Fairfax. Update Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard California, where the documents are. And I would report the documents. And I didn't even use a lot of hashtags because I didn't have enough characters. I was always running out of room to put a hashtag. So somehow they reported me for spamming and manipulating a platform. And it took me a long time to get my account back. And I ended up using the Better Business Bureau here in America. And they helped me. And I got it back with all my followers, all my content. I got it all back. But they still kept false flagging me. So what I ended up doing was a mass tweet delete of anything more than a year old. And I was really sad to lose some of my posts. But I mean, a lot of it I had. any of the pictures I put up, I tend to put up on Instagram. So thank you. I'm going to go back down here and see if I can find any more from a book deal. Oh, okay. So they're thinking that is the promo coded shout out. So they think someone thinks she's putting out a book. I really don't think a publisher will take her. I really don't. I've been on with Legal Bites, and I've been on with, I was on when she had multiple people on. I would love to be on there. I was really good at bringing the details of the Depp versus Heard case, and they were really great with obviously explaining the legal stuff. But a lot of the stuff they didn't know, and I understood why they didn't know. They wanted to go into this case as a juror. I just judge things as it happened when it was happening. They didn't want to know too much knowledge. They didn't want to know too much of what I had. But when they would ask questions like, I don't know why the judge didn't XYZ, I was able to answer those questions. I was able to answer what motions were filed. Yeah, she knows she can't. I just can't believe that she could write a book. Like I said, other than what's not about Johnny, that she can write about. She can write about her life and trying to get a career in Hollywood, about being a model, about being too young for Magic Mike, how her parents raised her. She can write a book about Elon. She just can't write anything about Johnny, or it'll be republication. No publisher with a 10-foot pole will touch her. Yeah, as long as the book doesn't contain Johnny in it. Hold on. Still looking. I had Pembroke Corgi. Someone's talking about their dogs. I had a Cavalier King Charles that I lost. It's tore me apart. I could not, haven't been able to get another dog. That's how I see it. Probably staying in, I think Pamela was, the way they arrived together every day and left together every day in the same car, that she was staying in that house with her. And I'm thinking Travelers picked up the cost. I'm hoping in this discovery that we will find out at some point exactly who paid for what. So, yeah, I don't think, let's see. I'm not worried about the book. Is promo for book deal a blackmail? Amber Heard KoolAid shout out. Oh, could be. It could be a blackmail shout out to people like Elon. Again, this is just speculation. Like, you better keep helping me. I'm going to put out this tell-all book. Could be to a lot of people in Hollywood. You better hire me. I'm going to put out this tell-all book. Yes, that could be a shout out. He has not disappeared. As far as I know, his name was still on all of those latest motions. He just had to scroll down a page or so. To my knowledge, she has not applied for an appeal yet. She has until, I think Sunday's the official 20. Was that the 24th? She has till the 24th. I don't know if that'll go into Monday or she'll have to file by Friday. Yeah, Tug is being beat up. Tug is funny. I mean, you're right. All this is true, but Tug cracks me up because he's like, bring it on. It just gives me more content for my channel. The more you do to me, the more I'm going to report what you're doing to me. The more people are going to watch it, the more money I'm going to make. So good on Tug for having that attitude. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's why Amber and Lane got along so well. Barrage and bombarded with junk to wear them out and get help they give up. Yeah, they wanted Johnny to settle. They figured they'd bury him enough that he would. Would you trust AH to tell the truth about anyone? Not me. And that is a super chat from Tracy. Let's see if we can find it. Do not like the system. Tracy Fagan, would you trust AH to tell the truth about anyone? Not me. No. She does not understand what the truth is. She doesn't. Elon's lawyers would destroy her. They sure would. But I don't know. I don't know who the father is. I mean, at one point I read that Elon only wanted to procreate boys, and then Grimes had a girl. So that made me rethink maybe. Jennifer Howe was pretty adamant that there were embryos created between the two of them, that there was a lawsuit over. I'm just trying to decipher the super chat. Thanks. Yeah, I think that's got to be what it is. Is if it's about the tell-all book, or is it like a blackmail, a warning to people to keep helping her and employing her? That's the only thing I can think of. All right, so we're running down time because I know Jaxie's going to be coming on, and I'd love for you to jump over to her show. So let me take a few more questions. I hope you understood everything I covered today. When did you first got on Age Hoax? I heard that you were in UK too. I didn't go to the UK. I didn't. I attended a lot of hearings via Zoom. That was really, really interesting. Yeah, I know we got 25 minutes before them. I just want people to get a chance to go get a drink, go to the bathroom, settle down, get some fresh air before they sit down and watch more YouTube. I think I was shocked when she claimed abuse. I was absolutely shocked. I just could not see that in this man. I knew I had seen reports of maybe some alcohol issues. I'd seen reports or video that he looked overserved. I assumed drugs, everyone in Hollywood, I believe, is using a lot of drugs. So I wasn't shocked by that, but I just didn't see him as an abusive man. I mean, he has 2 children. He was with Vanessa for a very long time. This made no sense to me. Vanessa's a model. I don't think she could cover anything up. It just made some sense. And then the first thing that came out for me was the LAPD saying, yeah, no, we were there. There was no injuries. There was no injuries at all. Just real quick. Warren says rental is still on the homeowner's form. I Googled Travelers and they kept referring it to it. They don't refer in their letter. They would say your rental insurance covers or your homeowner's policy covers or your rental policy covers. So I don't know, maybe it's a rental. Anyway, so the police came out and then I started to do more investigation and I found that letter that was attached. That secret letter was released with the TRO saying we went 3 penthouses for her friends, one for a friend lived in, obviously. And that's when I knew this was a hoax. I knew it was a hoax. It was a complete money shakedown. Missed my first. She could self-pub, print on demand. Well, she could self-publish. I mean, that's so easy to do. I mean, you can get on Amazon. There's a whole bunch of connections that you can self-publish and put it out on a ebook. So this is what I was talking about. Rental is still on a homeowner's form. I don't know. I Googled some images and it says your rental insurance will cover your rental. So it seems like they don't interchange homeowner because rental isn't a homeowner. Yes, I know, but that wasn't until January. So it doesn't matter. I don't know when the offer was made. It could have been, and she could have, but the insurance would not go into effect. This is saying the insurance went into effect in November. It went into effect, and it can't go into effect until you close on the home. Thank you for everything you've done. I love it. It's intriguing to me, and I'm so glad I can share it this way. It's so much more interactive with people than it is just me tweeting out, and I love it. Well, I think they would know. They would know she had a home. I mean, homeowners, first thing they're going to do, just for example, real basic homeowners policy, what's your address? And what they're going to do, are you in a floodplain? What are you going to do? They're going to pull up and see, are there any liens against that house or any judgments against that house? So they're not just going to say, because you say you're buying this house, and they know you're buying it. Now, part 2 could be you're already in the house and you decide you want to get better price on insurance and you switch companies. That could be you're already in the house but typically you buy the insurance and it goes into effect the day you close on it. Here we go. I'm a self-published author, and I can 100% guarantee Amazon would get in trouble for putting out a slanderous item. Therefore, they would remove it immediately, and they don't even have to let her know. Yeah, I agree. My suggestion is just that you're going to get her book, and there's going to be like 5 empty pages for every year she was with Johnny. She's going to say Johnny Depp, and it's going to be just empty pages. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like what I'm doing here. I really do. Wow, super sticker. Thank you, Linda. Hey, that's awesome. I so appreciate it. Here we go. Appreciate it. Florida insurance change. A rental is still on homeowner's form, so it's a HO policy. Interesting. Thank you for that. So you're saying that the letters, when they said this is covered by your homeowner's insurance policy, it could still be rental. Warren, thank you. I really appreciate that. I was the real estate side, not on the insurance side. Interesting. Mine is called homeowners, even though I rent. It's mainly contents. That's my understanding, but I'm in Canada. So homeowners rental is a commercial policy that insures a rental home of homeowners, and insured renters homeowners is still called homeowners form. Interesting. Now we do know she had a commercial policy for Under the Black Sky. We know that was commercial for sure. It's actually going to be, today's live stream will be under incredibly average, Brian's channel. He's doing the live stream today. But they have Movies, Myths, and Monsters that they just put a video channel up for. Thank you. I'm glad you can help it. And I'm not perfect because this homeowners thing I searched on and I've got mixed information on, but I find that interesting. I cut that one already. The question I have, if insurance agent, would your rental still have personal liability? I guess it would. Most people have an umbrella for that too. She could have the same policy while renting a condo and apartment. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Warren, there you are. So would it still have personal liability insurance on the rental? I guess so. Bodily harm for homeowners is usually like, let's say your roots were growing out of the ground. Someone was walking up to your house and they tripped over a tree root and they got hurt. So that's the property itself that you own that could cause bodily injury. I guess a rental. I don't know if they have that. I'm going back down and see if any new stuff. The policy was probably on a rental property. You have to show all sorts of documentation on true homeowners policy, mortgage holder, etc., because the mortgage company owns a majority. Yeah. Well, the mortgage company does. That's true. But wouldn't the rental owner who's renting, wouldn't they have their own homeowners insurance for the mortgage, to cover the mortgage? I think. I sincerely appreciate your reading skills. Just saying, you make it so easy. Thank you. Because sometimes I feel like I garble my words. I'm like, get ahead of myself. Lori, what am I missing? Oh, check my PayPal. Thank you so much. I don't think I can do it right now. Thank you. I will. I so appreciate your support. Some of these documents I've been able to get for free. We're going to pull money together to get the unsealed documents, so that should make it cheaper. I bought all the documents for the Depp, Brooks versus Depp trial, and I bought all the documents for the Depp versus Heard for anything that was heard in California. California charges you for docs like crazy. I spent thousands. Crazy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We good? Yeah, personal liability is a yes for the I rent. So you do have that. So interesting, interesting, interesting. What did I find here? Okay. If I go back to this one. So this is the policy for New York Marine. We know it was issued new. But if we go down to God, I don't know how to pull this off the top of my head, but I am. So it's $1 million policy. Rented damages to premises, rented to you limit. So this is the New York Marine policy. Damage to premises, rented to you limit, $300,000. Interesting. So apparently here she was in a rental. Damage to premises rented to you is a $300,000 limit. There you go. I don't know why I just only remember this, but this is the thing. Address of all premises you own, rent, or occupy, blacked out. So they do list rent, but here it is. $300,000 for, this just seems like a standard form. So what do you think of that? Damage to premises. Rented to you. Well, this is a commercial space, so maybe this is not, has nothing to do with her home. This is the business, under the black sky. Maybe they have an office they rented. Personal advertising injury limit is $1 million because again, this is a business one. Business. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up for you guys. One last question, and yeah, Lori, you're right. YouTube takes 30%, so if you send PayPal is a better way to go. But I just appreciate offsetting my costs. I'm really enjoying talking with you all. I heard it's 30% to 40%. I'm convinced Turd will continue her defamation propaganda parade to get JD's attention no matter what it takes. Tell all book, movie, praying that he will give her a validation. Yeah, that's why I think she's going to try and appeal. Somehow she wants to still stay connected to him. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie's a great supporter, too. Glad you enjoyed the stream. Yeah, please, reminder, subscribe. And next to where it says subscribe, there's a little bell. If you want notifications, hit the bell. That'll remind you when I have a live stream that I schedule ahead. Subscribe, like, comment helps my analytics. Share, share, share. And I'll be posting this more on Twitter. I'm going to start posting links to these documents so you can look for yourself. I don't want to discourage anyone from coming to YouTube, so I'll probably wait 24 hours. And I will try and do another live on Thursday. And I'll talk about, let's take a look at the list of documents that they've unsealed and what that list means to us, right? What we think is in there. And I can compare and contrast to the motions that they've actually filed and see if we can match things up. So I'm going to thank y'all. I'm going to sign off. I appreciate your support. I got all my super chats. Thank you very much. And y'all have a good day and go check out Incredibly Brian. They're doing their live stream. And after that will be Christine Peichel. She'll be doing another one. So goodbye for now and take care, everyone.